What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Turn the Jets podcast. I'm your host, Will Parkinson, at Will11 on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. TOJ Pod, TOJ Talks. You guys know the deal by now. I've said it 8,000 fucking times. Game week number 3, Jets at Bucs. Actually recording this as I'm about to head to the airport to fly down to Tampe. Crazy next few weeks. Crazy travel schedule for me this year. As everyone knows, I'm a psychopath and go to every game. But I want to kind of hop on here. Emotions were high a week ago, a couple days ago. Just kind of talk through a little bit of what's transpired, I guess, the last 2 weeks, and then talk more importantly about what the Jets have coming up on Sunday and kind of the way a lot of things can change one way or another, this weekend. So a couple PSAs, TOJ Pod shirts in the shop. We did a limited drop a couple days ago. They're almost all sold out. So if you want one of this drop, go for it. There'll be hoodies coming up in the next week or so. So stay tuned for that. Obviously, things like this, like the Badlands dry fit tee, Badlands hats, other things of that nature, the flags, etc. Dynasty Financial, who sponsored who helped sponsor, the live show, we'll be in the suite with them on Sunday and a couple of, Badlands listeners. So pretty awesome stuff there. Really good episode from Joe and Connor. Good film room from Max, Dan, and PK, and there'll be a Jet Heads pregame, Buff the Trend as well. And I had selfishly a 30-minute rant on Tuesday or Monday afternoon. Look, Jets laid an egg on Sunday night or Sunday afternoon, whatever, against Buffalo. No ifs, ands, buts about it. They were awful. They got smoked. They got smoked by the Super Bowl favorite. There's a lot of things that went on. We talked through a lot of them, whether it was, they got out-coached, they got outplayed, they got out-talented, felt like they got out-efforted. Just everything was bad. That said, going into up till game time, I think people were feeling pretty good. Felt like, wow, man, is Glenn the guy? Can Fields be here more than a year? Have we really found our offensive line? Wow, Sauce is worth every penny. That was a lot of the thoughts, I think, coming out of the Steelers game. And it was, week one always lies, and those things are true. But, the vibes on the fan base were pretty good. I think people were excited about what they saw. Like, hey, we're going to lose, man. I'll take losing 34-32 and scored a bunch of points and having big-time plays and so on and so forth. Jets cut Gibson and accountability's rolling and Glenn's rolling. And, it's like, hey, man, we should have won, but we were hyper-aggressive week one. We came out ready to play. We were going for 2. Going for it on 4th down. It's like a lot of what you want to see. Week 2 sucked. Again, conservative, not going for it. Didn't feel like they were in the front foot at all. Very much the nail, not the hammer. They got bullied by the ultimate bully in the AFC East right now in the Bills. And that was why I think everyone's so discouraged. And then the press conferences the last couple of days, I'm not as bent out of shape about them. And maybe it's just me, it's hard to coach speak and different things like that. It's hard for me to get too amped up about, hey, man, can't believe Glenn said that. And I get it. There's nothing, I don't think he's covered himself in glory the last couple of days. And, hey, first sign of adversity, I'm not sure you need to sit there and, break out all the coachisms. Do I think that you need to be like, hey, Michael Clemens, you guys don't know because you didn't play, speaking to a majority of the fan base. And the media, I feel like, is always a little bit of a dicey situation. I hated when Ryan Clark did it. Back in the day, D'Angelo Williams did to our guy Kyle. And just bullshit. Kyle played in college at Division I level. I think he's every right to talk about football. But point being, Michael Clemens probably does things for the Jets that they view as a rosterable level player based on what he's asked to do, whether it be setting an edge. Again, I'm not even necessarily agreeing with this, but setting an edge and these different things. And Joe talked about this of hey, everyone's got access to film. Everyone's got more and more knowledge around the game. And it's hard to just be like, oh, we watch the tape. You guys don't watch the tape. All that said, I just feel like for right now, until they start winning, and Glenn, I don't think Glenn has to be cushy with the media and all that stuff. I would just highly advise, and this would be what I would tell Aaron Glenn if I was giving him advice, would be, hey, man, you've done a really good job so far up until this last 72 hours or so, a little bit longer, of kind of relating to the fan base. Hey, I'm one of you guys. been a Jets fan because I was drafted here and got my first start professionally in the scouting world here and all that stuff. And I'm home. I'm the head coach. I want to be here forever. All that stuff. Very easy could have said, hey, we feel like Mike's doing a good job of what his role is here. The numbers may not pop off the page, and we spoke to him when he knows he can't do what he did on Sunday ever again. But we feel good about Mike going forward in his role. That's it. Would have been easy. You're not shitting on the guy. You're kind of giving the fan base what they want to hear, and that Michael Clemens did something stupid. But you're also not sitting there saying, like, you're dumb. You don't know what he does for us. I think that goes for a lot of these different things. Hey, the expectations. Glenn kind of laid out the expectations. And I think that's why week 1 was so, like, the moral victory thing was dumb, but in the reality, like, that's why people felt good. Because Glenn was like, the expectations are a team this fan base can be proud of. Play really hard, all those different things. And I feel like everyone was kind of like, hey, even though we're disappointed they lost, like, proud of the effort, proud of a lot, watching a team that's scoring points, doing X, Y, and Z. Like, it didn't feel as awful as it felt like getting stomped over the way they did a week ago. So my point being, like, could have been an easy, like, hey, man, we're 0-2, but we had to step back this week, but we have an opportunity in front of us on Sunday to rewrite the ship and get ourselves rolling. And, we're in a not a rebuilding phase. You don't have to use that term, but you could, use some term of, it's year 1 of this regime. We're trying to build this thing and it doesn't happen overnight. And, we want to make sure we win football games and that's the most priority, but we also are in the mission to make this not just win this year, but win going forward or something. I don't know, some coachism in that way. Everyone would be like, all right, cool, whatever. But to do like big ships turn slow and, hey, we're not, everyone wants to see in the Super Bowl tomorrow. And it's like, I don't think the fan base wants that. They want that, but I think the fan base is really looking for progress. I think they're tired of being the laughing stock and the same old Jets. Like, as much as people can, crap on the Steelers and whatever, like, maybe not everyone would feel this way. I think a lot of Jets fans kind of want to be what the Steelers are right now. Like, some consistency, and it's like every year we're going to be in the mix. We're probably not a Super Bowl contender, but at least we're in the playoffs every year and different things like that. And maybe people would get tired of it. I'm sure they would. And the Yankee fans get tired of it, Steelers fans, et cetera. But, like, I think they want to get to that point where it's like each year you go in knowing, like, we're not the laughing stock on Saturday night and these different things. So I don't think Glenn has to do that. I think it's very easy. It can just be like, hey, man, really rough week last week. We don't want to see that ever happen again. We were disappointed with the tape, and we're going to put out a better performance on Sunday, and it's easy as that. So enough of the Glenn Presser stuff. I'm not as bent out of shape about it. I just think there's, like, ways you can probably answer some of these questions that honestly aren't really tough questions in a way that doesn't give the fan base PTSD of Saleh and Bowles and Gase, but also at the same time isn't sitting there lying your ass off. So let's look at Sunday. Big news, obviously, Tyrod Taylor is going to start. Certainly felt that way on Monday. When after the game, Glenn was like, yeah, Fields can't go by Friday. Like, he's not playing. And as much he didn't talk about this, I think they want to just know who their starting quarterback is going into the week. I don't think Fields, he didn't seem like he would give in that, like, Fields isn't, progressing. But I also think he's not going to sit there and wait around and have them prep one game plan the whole week and then have to throw it out and implement it with a young offense and things like that. So when it comes down to Tyrod, will they miss Fields in the running game? The quarterback run game, obviously. I mean, Tyrod's mobile and he'll be able to, he can evade some pressure and he can, he makes one guy miss and in a sack, he can go get 8-9 yards there and linebacker turns his head. Like, he could pick up a first down or here or there. But you'd really obviously prefer Tyrod to take as little hits as possible. It's the one, red flag is he gets hurt a lot. That's the tough part of having him as a backup. Like, I think Connor said this 800 times. If Tyrod Taylor was guaranteed 17 games with a Jet starter, everyone would have picked him to go 9-8 because that's what he did with Buffalo when he actually played a full season. Tyrod in the last, year plus this year, last 19 games, whatever, as a Jet, obviously has not played very much. He's played 5 series. He has 4 touchdowns, 22, I believe, of 35, 175, and 4 touchdowns. So, and some rushing yards. So he's been productive. It's obviously been mop-up time. But, had the 2 drives against Buffalo, 2 for 2, and he had a couple drives against San Francisco, and he had a couple, the drives, last weekend, against Buffalo. So the passing game will be more open, a lot more drop back game. He's just a more natural thrower of the football. He's going to push the ball down the field. Garrett targets. I would not be shocked if they take some shots with Arian Smith, especially if the Bucs, go with some some classic Bull safety blitzes and, kind of all that pressure, which, Todd's known for. Maybe interesting to see if the Jets try to get Arian Smith involved. Do they try to take a shot or two with Garrett? Do they try to, get some boot game going? The offense is going to look a little bit different. Fields, again, is really mobile, and he opens up a lot of run game stuff, but teams are selling out 8-9 guys in the box. It's hard to do that against Tyler. Tyler will pick you apart. He's going to process faster and different things like that. So does Tyrod hold the ball also? Yeah, but it's more to push the ball down the field. Justin holds the ball, and we saw in week 1 where he did a good job of getting rid of it, but week 2 we saw where he just kind of just holds the ball back there, and it's like, oh boy, let's throw the football away around. Let's stop taking huge hits, and unfortunately, took a huge hit on Mason Taylor one-on-one with Joey Bosa, and that's a whole conversation for another day. But point being, I don't think this hurts the Jets per se this week. I think Joe made the point, and I wholeheartedly agree. If Fields can't be a runner because he's banged up, you can't have him out there. Like that takes away so much of what makes Justin Fields a really fun, interesting, player. If he's not going to be able to run, he's not mobile, he's not as good of a thrower of the football as Tyrod was, or more polished, I should say. Fields has got a big arm, but it's just a very different style of football. So the Jets are banged up there. They also, we'll see if Jermaine plays. As of now, I would say he doesn't play, which sucks for the Jets. He's a huge part of what makes them go. And I know, the Jets defense did not look good against Pittsburgh, but he was good in his first game back. And, obviously they missed him in the second half. The game was already over against Buffalo. But point being, they need him, especially because Baker's awesome. He's going to give you some time to get after him a little bit, and he'll throw you a few, but he's a really damn good quarterback. He puts up huge numbers. The reason Jermaine being out also would be unfortunate is it means more Michael Clemens and more Braden Gregor and Tyler Barron. But, adversely, the Bucs are likely to be missing both their starting left tackle and right tackle. They're starting, center/guard Graham Barton, who's awesome, is going to have to play left tackle, which makes him worse in there. And then Cody Maul obviously gets hurt and is out for the season now. The Bucs to be missing likely their 3 top offensive linemen, and then one of their other top offensive linemen now playing in a position where he's a solid left tackle. Graham Barton's an awesome interior offensive lineman. That's an advantage. The Jets should be able to take advantage. And Houston lit them up. Baker is getting absolutely tattooed. But again, the Bucs were able to figure out a way to win on Monday night. Emeka Egbuka is not practiced now. Yesterday, we'll see if he practices today. It's hard to sometimes tell. There's some reports he didn't practice today as well, but until the injury report comes out, obviously we'll see there. It's hard to tell if Chris Godwin will go. If he does go, it'll be his first game back, but I can see the Bucs maybe holding him out another week. And then Baker got banged up. It's nothing structural or anything like that, but it seemed to get banged up and was hobbling at the end of the game on Monday night. So a lot of injuries. Michael Carter, shoulder, he's going to play. Has shoulder strain there. Tony Adams, we'll see. It's hard to tell with Adams. There's a lot of guys banged up. Kenny Nwanu, hopefully he's back. The Jets need him from a kick return perspective. Isaiah Williams was horrendous on Sunday afternoon in his first game as a Jet. So keys to the game for the Jets. As I mentioned, you have to keep Bucky Irving and Rashad White in check. Very much Bucky Irving. 6 catches out of the backfield on Monday night. He's a really good running back. He's a good runner of the football. He's a good catcher of the football. Quincy Williams and Jamien Sherwood have to step up. Now, first 2 weeks, some splash plays, a couple TFLs for Sherwood, but overall the performance has been really, really disappointing. Doesn't seem like he's playing fast. Seems like he's overthinking things. He's overshooting gaps, maybe abandoning responsibility at times, or not taking, kind of the bull by the horns a little bit. And, as much as he got thrust into things last year, Jamien he was a really solid player. Again, did I think he was a 3 for 30 guy, not a 3 for 45 guy? Yeah, for sure. Other teams, there's teams like Atlanta and New England probably would have paid him 3 for 51, 3 for 54. So we'll see how that contract ages, but he's not been good enough through 2 weeks. And I think Jamien would tell you that. So he's got to be better. Got to be a week where guys are not bouncing off the tackles of Quincy Williams and Jamien Sherwood. This can't be like last week with James Cook, and they're nipping at James Cook's heels and not taking him down. Josh Allen's running through him. Baker's mobile. He's not Josh Allen, but he's not Aaron Rodgers, where he's a statue back there. Baker can move and he'll lower his shoulder, and if you don't if you don't wrap him up, he's a thick dude. You gotta bring Baker down. It's just not like a nip at his heels and trip him up. So they got to get pressure with 4. Pressure with 5 has not worked for them thus far. They have to get back to, we saw this 2 years ago, 3 years ago now, Jesus Christ. 2022, Jets defense looked like dog shit through 2 weeks. Ravens all over them. Cleveland put up 30 plus, and you're like, oh my God. Then Cincinnati starts carving them up, and it's like, what is going on? Like, this was supposed to be a good unit. Defensive head coach. What's going on? They went back to pressure with 4, some overloads and different things like that with the defensive line, but they were able to figure it out and then became a dominant defense the remainder of the year until the dam kind of broke at the end of the year. But that, neither here nor there. They were an unbelievable unit, top 5 unit in football easily. This unit has a lot of talent. Now, do I think Wilkes needs to have a better day? Absolutely. He needs to be more situationally aware. You have to earn the right to play man coverage in the NFL. The Jets have not earned that right through 2 weeks. Have they been horrendous in man? No. But have they been good enough? No, they haven't been. So first and second down, they were really good on Sunday, and they were really good the week before. On third down, they've been doing these 5-man pressures and all man and cover 1 and all these different things. And one guy's been losing every time. And it's, if you're going to play man, you can't have that happen. It's just the reality of it, right? So to me, I wonder, there's a couple different approaches. I would just have Sauce and first of all, this is what the Texans did, and I think Sauce is every bit as good of a player as Stingley is. They took Mike Evans out of the game. Mike Evans is in his 30s. He's a great player. Sauce and him is a great matchup for Sauce in the aspect of Sauce is wiry. Sauce is 6'3". Mike Evans is 6'3", 6'4". Like, he's a bigger receiver. You would assume this is a good size matchup. This isn't Tyreek on Sauce where it's like very stylistically different. This should be a good matchup for him. I'm not saying it's going to be easy. Mike Evans is going to be a Hall of Famer probably one day. Stats a little overrated, but whatever. Really good player, and he's going to be a Hall of Famer one day. This needs to be a big Sauce day. This needs to be, I'm taking away their best and most reliable offensive weapon. Quincy and Sherwood, hey, buddy, one of you's got Baker in the run game, and the other one's got Bucky Irving, and we're not going to lose our matchups, individual matchups. Again, no I in team, but these guys got to step up. And then it comes down to what you do with everybody else. I think Michael Carter's was not great week 1. I thought he was better week 2. I think he's, was better. A couple, PBUs, a couple TFLs, but, got beat on the Elijah Moore crosser. And that's what everyone notices. That's the unfortunate part of corner is you get beat once and everybody knows, right? So he's got to be better. This is going to be probably, if Emeka Egbuka's playing, are you zoning him up? Are you trying to play man against him? What happens if Godwin does or does not play? We know Jalen McMillan obviously has the neck injury. So can you hide Brandon Stevens as much as you can? Listen, man, I said this last week and it did not happen really, but Brandon Stevens doesn't have to be great. Doesn't have to even be good. He needs to be a league average or even slightly below league average player that tackles well, that gives effort, that knows his assignments, that stays eye discipline. Dude, if you get beat, it happens. People get beat. I'm not going to sit there and, lose my mind over getting beaten on a back shoulder ball. It's frustrating, but it is what it is. There needs to be real effort. There needs to be sticking your head in there to tackle guys. I wouldn't mind seeing a corner blitz with Brandon Stevens instead of a Sauce Gardner. Just from a tackling perspective, you would assume Stevens is a better tackler, but I don't know. Didn't want to stick his head in there on James Cook, so we'll see. Safety-wise, I'd like to see Malachi Moore try to get a turnover in this game. Kind of a big game hunter. He wasn't bad, I didn't think, on Sunday. He wasn't great. He kind of got thrust in there, and it is what it is. So this thing on defense needs to be a couple of different things. Here are the keys from a defensive perspective. Keep guys in front of you. There cannot be 4-yard plays that become 18-yard plays, 18-yard plays that become 40-yard plays. Can't do it. Can't live like that. It'll never be successful in the NFL. You got to limit explosives. Take the football away. You have to take the football away in the NFL. Baker, as good as he is, he'll give you a few. He just will. He's an unbelievable player. He's probably closer to a top 5 guy than he is a top 10 guy at the moment. But if he gives you a couple, tries to fit in a tight window, yeah, catch the football. I take it away. As good as the Bills were, like ball gets tipped by Josh Allen, it's up in the air for an hour and a half, and no one catches the football. It's like, why are we batting that down? Catch the football. So, got to take the football away, got to tackle efficiently, and you have to get pressure with 4. You just do. Whether it's, hey, we're blitzing everybody, Will McDonald's going to drop into a spot zone, and we're going to bring Quincy, or we're going to fake this double mug look, and up the A gap, and we're going to bring 6 or 7, and you don't. Whatever it may be, like that's just what it has to be. And Connor and Joe brought this up. I don't hate the suggestion of you go big up front. Try to just be like, we are not going to give up anything in the run game. You have a bunch of backup linemen across the board, and that's that. Offensively, get the ball to Garrett Wilson early and often. Take a few shots. You got to at some point. The Jets there's 2 weeks of data now, right? The Jets don't ever throw the ball on first down. And I'm not saying they have to be this pass first team. That's not their identity. But at the end of the day, you have to show some different looks. You cannot be so predictable. Take a play action shot to start the game. What's the worst happen? You throw an interception? Okay, but at least you took a shot, and now there's like a reason to do anything. Like you got to be able to establish the run game. Let's get the screen game involved. Todd Bowles is going to blitz. He's going to bring pressure. Can you get a screen game to Brees? Maybe a tight end slip screen to Stone Smart or Mason Taylor. Get them involved. Play some heavy personnel and throw the football to some of those guys. Or can you get some pony on the field and some double looks and maybe some power with Braylon Allen's lead as a fullback and to Brees or different things like that. This is a game where I feel like, can you get Arian Smith involved? I mentioned at the top of the pod. Take a shot. Let's take a shot or two and take a shot early and run some offense with him on the field. If you're going to play him, just play him. I'm not saying he has to be a full-time player, but he can't be, Arian Smith's on the field, they're doing a reverse. Like that can't really be the case. So, I don't know, take a shot or two here. Maybe run some bunch formation stuff with him and Garrett and try to get him a free release and see if you can take a shot. Tyrod will throw it up to you. He'll give you a shot. So, offensively, it's going to be obviously establishing the run. You're going to have to do a good job there. Need a better game from Olu. Need a better game from the offensive line as a whole. Didn't think they were bad on Sunday, but they were not good either. The Bills did a lot of really nice things in terms of stunts, and they sold out in those run blitzes and didn't really give the Jets offensive line a chance. But it's got to be a good game. They got to get a confident, good opening script. And then lastly, from a coaching perspective, 25 minutes in and haven't taken a breath, but I want to see an aggressive Aaron Glenn. Todd Bowles is a great football man, great coach, or really good. I take this back. Really good coach. Longevity, he's won 3 straight division titles. Can't take that away from him. I will say this. Todd is, if not the most conservative coach in the league, he's one of the most conservative coaches. All of the tropes about defensive head coaches and punting inside the opponent's territory, 4th down stuff, and timeout usage, all that stuff, it applies to Todd Bowles. Aaron Glenn needs to be the aggressor in this game. He needs to be – you're on the road as a touchdown underdog already in week 3. You got your fucking teeth kicked in last weekend, okay, by a division rival. The Bucs are rolling out the throwback uniforms. It's the home opener. They're 2-0. They're touchdown favorites at home against the Jets are coming in, steamrolling them. I'd like to see Aaron Glenn get a little crazy here. Are you running a fake punt? Are you going for it on 4th and 5 on your own 38-yard line? Because you want to just, dude, they're not expecting it. We have a great play called. We love what we have called. We think we're better than you, and we trust our defense. It's 4th and 2 on the Tampa 48. We're going for, why are we punting? They're going to score if we give them the ball back. Either way, we have a better chance of winning this game if we go. And I'd like to see some of that stuff. So this needs to be a hair on fire. We got to win this football game. Look, the Bucs last year were 2-0, coming back home. Same situation right before the Jets played the Broncos. And the Broncos, who I think were 12.5-point dogs last year at Tampa, with Bo Nix, and they looked like absolute garbage the first 2 weeks. Similar to the Jets. And the Bucs looked awesome. I think they beat the Lions, if I'm not mistaken. And they come home, and Broncos punch them right in the mouth. Very Todd Bowles-ish. letdown game. We saw it as Jets fans, right? We're used to that. Roller coaster with Todd, and it kind of falls in his face. This is why I say this. This needs to be one of those games where this changes the course of your season. If you win on Sunday, you are now going Monday Night Football to Miami, who's likely to be 0-3 and potentially having fired their head coach. They're a team in turmoil. You're all of a sudden we had a huge win, momentum. Then the rest of the schedule for the next 4 or 5 weeks doesn't look so crazy. You go, if we beat Miami, we're 2-2 coming home to a Dallas team who's very average, horrible on defense. Could we steal that? Denver and London, long trip. They're going to overlook us. Kind of a good matchup style for us. Just both, really good defense from Denver, but Bo's going to give us a couple and we like our run defense better, even though last week was putrid. Then you got Carolina, who's gotten beat up a little bit. Hey, can we go 2-1 in those three? Like you start to just get in this mode where if you win this, the outlook is you quiet all the noise. You don't talk about big ships turning slow and Super Bowl aspirations and all this stuff. Go in on Sunday and come out the way you came out week 1. Aggressive, punching them in the mouth a little bit, hitting the quarterback early, making them feel a little bit. Bucs have a lot of guys injured. You're starting quarterbacks out. But you know what? You got a 36-year-old veteran making a lot of money who everybody around the league loves. He's here for a reason. So I'll end on that. Lastly, again, be in the Dynasty's Financial Suite on Sunday. So make sure you get some content out to you guys. T-shirts are available in the shop. Buck the Trend tomorrow, Jet Heads, and I think there's a 12-pack from Joe earlier this morning. So appreciate it for listening, and we'll talk to you guys soon.